They observe from a distance, constructing their illusions, weaving assumptions from fragments of your existence. They think they know you. They believe their perception is truth. But what they see is a shadow, a carefully placed reflection, an echo of the image they want to believe in. They do not know the war behind your eyes, the endless battles fought in silence. They do not know the depth of your mind, the things you have endured, the chaos you have conquered. And that terrifies them. Because if they cannot define you, they cannot control you. And if they cannot control you, they fear what you might become. There is a discomfort in uncertainty, an unease in the presence of something they cannot predict. People crave patterns. They worship familiarity. But you are an anomaly. You do not fit their mold. You do not play by their rules, and that disrupts their fragile understanding of the world. They cannot place you in a category, so they label you as a threat, not because you have wronged them, but because they cannot fathom what you truly are. And so, they whisper, they speculate, they paint you with the colors of their own insecurities, hoping that by doing so, they can force you into a definition that makes sense to them. But you remain an enigma, untamed and unyielding. They think your silence is emptiness. They mistake your restraint for weakness. They do not realize that behind every quiet gaze, every measured word, there exists a storm kept at bay by sheer will. You have seen things they would never survive. You have walked paths they would never dare tread. You have burned in the fires of your own destruction and risen anew, sculpted by pain, strengthened by the very shadows they fear. And that is what unsettles them. It is not just that they do not know you. It is that they know they never will. People fear what they cannot control, and you are the living embodiment of unpredictability. You do not need validation, nor do you seek acceptance. You move with purpose, with a quiet intensity that unsettles those who have never felt true conviction. They watch, waiting for you to falter, hoping for a glimpse of weakness. But you offer them nothing. You are a void they cannot fill, a riddle they cannot solve. And so, they turn to the only weapon they have, assumption. They create their own versions of you, diluted and distorted, feeding their own delusions to protect themselves from the reality of your existence. They fear the real you, because the real you is unchained. The real you does not conform, does not kneel, does not follow the script written for the masses. The real you is dangerous, not because you seek destruction, but because you refuse to be controlled. You think for yourself, you question what others accept blindly, and that makes you an anomaly in a world addicted to obedience. They want you to explain yourself, to soften your edges, to dilute your intensity. But you do not owe them understanding. You owe them nothing at all. Watch how they scramble when they realize they cannot manipulate you. Observe their discomfort when they see that their words hold no weight against you. They will call you arrogant, detached, cold. Not because you are any of those things, but because they are desperate to make sense of what they cannot understand. They wanted you to be predictable. They wanted you to be ordinary. But you were never meant to be either. You were forged in solitude, sharpened by adversity, sculpted by the trials they never had the strength to endure. And now, they cannot decide whether to admire you or to fear you. They will try to strip you down to something digestible, something that fits within their narrow worldview. They will search for cracks, for flaws, for anything that makes you less than what you are. But they will find nothing, not because you are perfect, but because you have mastered the art of walking through fire without letting the flames consume you. You are not like them, and that is why they will never understand you. The most dangerous person in the room is not the one who shouts the loudest or commands attention with empty bravado. It is the one who observes, who listens, who calculates without revealing intent. You are the silence before the storm, the presence that cannot be ignored, even when you say nothing at all. They feel it, the weight of your existence, the force of your presence, and it unnerves them, because deep down, they know that no matter what they say, no matter how they try to define you, they will never truly know what lies beneath the surface. They do not know the real you. They never will, because the real you is too vast, too complex, too untamed for their feeble minds to grasp. Let them wonder. Let them create their illusions. Let them build their fragile narratives. Their assumptions are a cage they built for themselves, not for you. You walk free, unbound, unstoppable. They built a version of you they could manage, a fiction they could wield like a leash, a projection they could manipulate to keep you in your place. They assigned you roles, carved out limits, painted you with the dullest colors so that you would never outshine them. They needed to believe they understood you, because understanding meant control. If they could define you, they could diminish you. If they could categorize you, they could predict you. And if they could predict you, they could keep you from becoming something beyond their grasp. But they made a fatal mistake. They forgot that you were never theirs to define. They mistook your patience for submission, your silence for compliance. They saw only what they wanted to see, blind to the truth lurking beneath their illusions. And when you shattered the image they built, they had nothing left to hold on to but their own disbelief. Watch how they flinch when you refuse to play the character they created. See the panic in their eyes when you step outside the script they wrote for you. They spent so much time believing in their version of you that they cannot comprehend your refusal to conform. They stumble, scrambling to reconstruct their narrative, to bend reality back into something they can understand. But it is too late. The mask they forced onto you has been broken, the illusion scattered into irretrievable fragments. You're no longer their possession, no longer their pawn. They see you now, uncontrolled, untethered, and far more dangerous than they ever imagined. They never prepared for the moment you would awaken. They never considered that the cage they built could be torn apart, that their control was an illusion from the start. They thought they were clever, spinning stories about who you were, feeding you their definitions, ensuring you remained something manageable. They underestimated you. They believed they were sculpting you, when all along you were sharpening yourself in the shadows. And now, as you rise beyond their reach, they are left grasping at a ghost. Their image of you has dissolved, and with it, their ability to manipulate you. Now, they stand in the wreckage of their own creation, trembling before something they never truly understood. There is a desperation in their eyes, a silent plea beneath their hostility. They need you to go back, to shrink, to conform to the image they once held. Because without that image, they have no power. Without that image, they must face the truth that they were never in control, that they were never above you. that their entire perception was nothing more than a fragile illusion. And nothing terrifies them more than a reality in which you are not who they thought you were, because that means they have no leverage, no authority, no way to contain you. They will lash out. They will accuse you of changing, of becoming something foreign, something unrecognizable. But you have not changed. You have merely revealed what was always there. It is they who cannot accept the truth. They who cannot reconcile the difference between their fantasy and your reality. And so, they will try to reclaim their power the only way they know how, by tearing you down. They will attempt to rebuild the illusion, to force you back into the mold they once imposed. But the mold is broken, and no force on this earth can reshape you into something you have already burned to ash. There's a moment of reckoning when those who sought to control you realize they have failed. It is an exquisite kind of silence, an unraveling of certainty, a collapse of the false world they built around you. You will see it in their expressions, the way their voices waver, the way their confidence cracks, the way their carefully constructed reality begins to cave in. They will not admit it. They will never say the words, but deep down, they know. They feel it in their bones, in the hollow ache of their failed deception. They do not own you. They never did. And now, they have no idea what to do with that knowledge. The fear in their eyes will betray them, because when they see you now, they no longer see someone they can control. They see something unpredictable, something beyond their comprehension. And people fear what they cannot control. They will watch you, waiting for you to falter, to give them something, anything, that proves they still have a grip on you. But they will find nothing. You are no longer playing their game. You have left them behind, stranded in the ruins of their own deception. And as they stand there, empty-handed, they will realize that without their illusion of you, they are powerless. What they do next will not matter. Whether they try to discredit you, undermine you, turn others against you, it will all be futile. Because their weapons were never real, only illusions made effective by your willingness to entertain them. But you entertain them no longer. Let them stand in the wreckage of their delusions. Let them wrestle with the emptiness left behind when they can no longer manipulate you. Do not explain yourself. Do not justify your growth. Do not comfort them in their distress. They built the illusion. Let them choke on its collapse. You owe them nothing. Not an explanation. Not an apology. Not a single moment of consideration. Walk away. Leave them to their ghosts. Let them drown in the absence of the control they once held so tightly. You are free now, and they will never recover from the loss of their illusion. They crave certainty. They need to label, define, dissect. A world without answers is a world they cannot navigate, a labyrinth with no clear exits, a storm without an eye. That is why mystery is not just power. It is a psychological chokehold. It wraps around their minds like a noose, tightening with every unanswered question, every silent moment, every blank space where an explanation should be. The unknown is their greatest terror because it forces them to admit their own limitations. They cannot read you. They cannot predict you. And that burns them alive from the inside. Their entire existence is built on patterns, familiarity, predictability. They cling to the comfort of understanding because it grants them a false sense of control. But when faced with the impenetrable, the unreadable, the unshaken, they unravel. They reach for words that never come, search for meanings that do not exist, chase shadows that refuse to take form, and the more they try, the deeper they sink into their own helplessness. That is the grip of mystery. It does not shout, does not threaten, does not lift a finger. It simply exists, and in its presence, they crumble. Watch how they shift in their seats when confronted with silence. See how their fingers twitch, how their eyes dart, how their thoughts race to fill the void you leave behind. They mistake absence for weakness, but absence is a weapon sharper than any blade. Because when you refuse to explain yourself, when you deny them the closure they so desperately seek, you become their obsession. They lose sleep over the questions you refuse to answer. They waste energy speculating, debating, grasping at conclusions that will never come. And while they spiral, you remain still, watching, waiting, knowing that you have already won. Power is not in the words spoken, but in the words withheld. The more they know, the safer they feel. The more they assume, the more they soothe their fragile egos. But when you offer them nothing, no insight, no explanation, no validation of their assumptions, you steal the very foundation from under their feet. They stand before you, unarmed, exposed, drowning in their own uncertainty. And the beautiful irony is that they will never admit it. They will pretend they do not care, that your mystery does not affect them. But their actions betray them. The way they watch you, the way they speak of you when you are not present, the way they hang on to every move you make. It is proof that you have them wrapped around your fingers. They are used to people who over-explain, who rush to justify, who scramble to be understood. But you deny them that comfort. You leave gaps in the story, holes in the fabric, questions without answers. And in doing so, you make yourself unforgettable. They may despise you. They may envy you. They may swear they want nothing to do with you. But you remain in their thoughts, long after you have left the room. That is the essence of control. That is the silent tyranny of mystery. Mystery forces them into submission without ever lifting a hand. It does not demand attention. It commands it. It does not beg to be understood. It forces the world to struggle with its existence. That is why they hate it. That is why they fear it. Because it strips them of their power, leaving them vulnerable, restless, unable to reconcile the fact that there are things beyond their comprehension. And the greatest torment is that no matter how hard they try, no matter how deeply they dig, the truth remains just beyond their grasp, mocking them from the shadows. They will try to provoke you, to force a reaction, to bait you into revealing yourself. Do not oblige them. Let them burn with frustration. Let them drown in their own impatience. Your silence is the leash around their throats, your unreadability the chain that keeps them bound. The more they struggle, the tighter it pulls, because nothing haunts the weak more than a presence they cannot define. And you are a specter, a riddle with no answer, a force they cannot name. That is what makes you dangerous. Those who lack power seek attention. They scream, they flaunt, they demand to be noticed. But the truly powerful need none of it. Power is in the stillness, in the controlled absence, in the deliberate act of withholding. Let them shout. Let them demand. Let them throw their feeble accusations. You owe them nothing. They will beg for an explanation, but you will give them silence. They will search for an opening, but you will give them nothing. And in that emptiness, they will break. In the end, they will call you cold, ruthless, detached. They will say you lack emotion, that you are impossible to reach. But that is only because they have never encountered something beyond their own understanding. They mistake depth for distance, strength for arrogance, control for indifference. Let them. Their frustration is their own prison, their inability to define you, their own torment. You remain untouchable, unshaken, while they dissolve into their own desperate need for clarity. Mystery does not seek approval, nor does it explain itself. It exists beyond the reach of those who think they understand the world. And you are that mystery. You are the shadow they cannot grasp, the enigma that denies them peace. Let them struggle. Let them resent. Let them crumble beneath the weight of their own unanswered questions. They live in the illusion of control, addicted to the comfort of knowing what comes next. The human mind is a pattern-seeking machine, desperate to connect dots, to find logic, to predict the future before it arrives. It is not power they crave. It is certainty. Certainty allows them to breathe, to move without hesitation, to sleep without nightmares of the unknown creeping into their thoughts. But when faced with something or someone they cannot predict, their very foundation begins to crack. They fidget. They hesitate. They analyze your every move, searching for a rhythm, a weakness, a clue that will restore their illusion of understanding. But you do not give them one, and in that void, they unravel. Uncertainty is the ultimate torment. It strips them of their defenses, forces them to stand naked before the unknown, trembling with the realization that they are not in control. When they do not know what you are thinking, when they cannot anticipate your next step, when they realize they have no leverage over you, their confidence rots into fear. They can handle an enemy who is predictable, an opponent who telegraphs their intentions. But you are something different. You do not walk the paths they expect. You do not react in the way they have prepared for. You are a force of chaos, deliberate, yet unreadable, measured, yet untamed. And that unsettles them more than any open threat ever could. Watch their expressions when you refuse to respond the way they hoped. See the flicker of doubt when their insults fail to provoke you, when their manipulations fall flat, when their attempts to corner you meet only indifference. They thought they knew you. They thought they had you mapped out like a book they had read before. But now, they hesitate before turning the next page, because for the first time, they do not know what comes next. And that uncertainty, that lack of control, it gnaws at them like a parasite, feeding on their arrogance until it crumbles into dread. A predictable enemy is a comfortable enemy. Predictability allows them to prepare, to build strategies, to maintain the illusion that they hold the upper hand. But the moment you step outside their expectations, they falter. The moment you prove to be something beyond their grasp, they are no longer facing an opponent. They are facing a storm without a pattern, a beast without a leash, a shadow without a source. And suddenly, the very confidence they once wielded like a blade becomes their downfall. Because confidence without control is nothing but bravado, and bravado shatters in the presence of the unknown. They want to read you. They want to dissect you, to reduce you into something small enough to grasp, something they can fit into the structure of their limited minds. But you do not grant them that privilege. You do not hand them the script. You do not offer them the satisfaction of knowing whether you will strike or walk away, whether you will speak or stay silent, whether you will build or destroy. And so, they watch you with wary eyes, second-guessing every move, their own confidence turning against them as they spiral deeper into their own uncertainty. Humans are not designed to function in the unknown. The primitive part of their brain, the one carved by centuries of survival, revolts against it. It is why they fear the dark, why they hesitate before stepping into the abyss, why they invent stories to explain what they do not understand. And when faced with a mind they cannot map, a force they cannot categorize, they experience the same primal fear their ancestors felt when staring into the wilderness, unsure if something unseen was watching from the shadows. That is the power of unpredictability. That is the silent control you hold over them. They will pretend it does not bother them. They will smirk, scoff, dismiss you with feigned amusement. But look closer. Their hands tighten, their voices waver, their eyes flicker in awe of you.